So, as you know that dural venous sinus, right? So these three terms are there, right? So we have to see uh, what is the meaning of this sinus. Okay, what is the meaning of sinus? Who can say what is the meaning of sinus? Sinus
Cavity.
means cavity. Okay, it is just a cavity. Okay, so if this cavity will be filled with air, then what is this? Air sinus. No, that air sinus, that will be like your frontal sinus, your ethmoid sinus, right? And you have paranasal sinus, okay? And the big sinus is maxillary.
Maxillary.
Yes, maxillary sinus, right? So here, whatever we are talking about the dural venous sinus, okay, it is what? Venous. So this cavity, it is filled with venous blood, okay? This is filled with venous blood. That means blood circulation of the brain that is going on inside this dural venous sinuses. So dura means what? This is the layer of meninges, right? This is the outer layer of meninges. Okay. So this outer layer of meninges, dura means it is tough, right? Okay. So it is a tough fibrous tissue. Which tissue it is? Fibrous tissue, right? It is the fibrous tissue. And this tissue has how many layers? Who can say? Dura has how many layers?
Two
It has
layers.
two layers. Right. So these two layers, one is outer layer and another is the inner layer. That means one layer that is very close to the skull. Okay. And another layer that is very close to the brain. Okay. So whatever the layer which is very close to the skull will be known as which layer? Endosteal layer.
Ostial.
Okay, endosteal layer. And which one is close to the brain will be meningeal layer. Okay, that will be your meningeal layer. Clear? That
Yeah.
means dural venous sinus is the potential space that is present in between the endosteal layer and the meningeal layer. Okay, so here uh, what we'll see that whole over the so if you'll take a coronal section, okay, coronal section of your skull. Suppose this is your skull, you'll find over here, okay. So this is a bone of the skull, okay. So what is these things are there here in between the two table of bone. Okay, this is one outer table of the skull bone and this is the inner table of the skull bone. Okay, to in between the two table of the skull bone, what is present these things? It is it is spongy layers. No, spongy layer of the skull. So outer it is which layer? It is compact layer of the bone. Okay, this is the compact layer. But this inner, sorry, the inner table and the outer table both are the compact layer. Okay, but the in between the two table of the compact bone, whatever the bone is present, that bone is the spongy bone. Okay, you know na? So that spongy bone is known as,
Cancellous bone.
no, here in, yes, spongy bone and cancellous bone both are same. But what is the name given over here?
Sinus.
Huh? What is the name given here?
The sinus. Is it, sir? I'm
No,
just guessing.
Sainath. No. In my question is, in between the two compact layer of the bone, there is another layer of spongy bone that is known as. Oh my God. What is that known as?
Diploid.
Yes. So this is the diploid, right? So this diploid, that is actually what? That is nothing but the spongy bone. Okay. Where the potential space created. Okay. And so this potential space, what is created in between the two layers of the compact bone inside this diploid. Okay. That is known as your air sinus. Air sinus. Okay, but just inside to that, uh, what you will find over here, that is the meninges. Okay, here you will find meninges. So this meninges is very close to this endosteal layer. Fine, here you will find it is very close to this endosteal layer, and means it is very faithful to this, what is that, skull, right? Like that, another layer is there. So this layer is least faithful, or you can say it is less faithful. Okay, so uh, what will find, this this layer of the diameter, it is also close to the endosteal layer, but sometimes it separates. Okay, then it again makes close relation with the, what is that, endosteal layer, right? So this blue is what, your endosteal layer, and this green is meningeal layer, right? So in between this endosteal layer and the meningeal layer, okay, here you'll find the potential space. Okay, here you will find potential space, and this potential space is your what, venous sinus, right? So this venous sinus, that is in between the two folds of your diameter, whereas the air sinus, that is in between the two layers of your compact layer of skull bone. Okay, clear? Right now, after this thing, what we'll see over here, now this venous sinus, that means it should be lined by which type of cell?
Endothelial.
Here it is lined by which type of
Ciliated
cell?
Ependymeric.
Endothelial.
Ependym.
Not ciliated.
Endo.
Yes,
Epithelial.
endothelial cells. Yes, epithelium. Okay, but this is known as your endothelium. Wherever the blood flow is there, there you will find what? What will find? Endothelial cells. Okay, so my question is, why these endothelial cells are present inside this blood vessel? Can anybody, you have done your pathology, why these endothelial cells that is present inside the blood vessels or the sinuses? Who is going to impress me soon, fast? We don't have time. Who can say why these endothelial cells are important inside the blood vessels? It prevents
Blood-brain barrier. Is it?
clotting. It, it prevents
So they,
clotting. Okay. So that it prevents to form the thrombus. Right? Right? Are you getting? When the endothelial cells are there, so the endothelial cells helps to maintain the flow of the blood. Okay. So what happens if the endothelial cells are damaged or it will be degenerated? Okay, the blood will be stagnated over that particular part, and that stagnated blood that will form your what? Clotting. Okay, or you can say it is the it will form the thrombus inside that blood vessels. Right. So why I am telling you this thing? Because in some cases you will find that have you heard about the dural venous thrombosis? Okay, so dural venous thrombosis, if the thrombus will form, okay, perhaps you have heard about the thrombophlebitis, the terms, right? So these are the terms. Why we are using this thing? Because if the thrombus will form inside this, what is that? Dural venous sinus, that will be stalked over any part of the sinus or the venous sinus, and that will make the obstacle to free flow the blood inside this dural venous sinuses. Okay, so that what will happen? The pressure gradients. Okay, that means the blood, always it is flows from the high gradient to low gradient, right? So here my question is all the venous channels, they have the valves over there. Okay, all the venous channels, they have the valves over there. Why? Because to prevent the backflow of the blood, right? So my question here, at which part of the venous sinus, which part of the dural venous sinus you will find the valves? Anybody?
The inferior portion, no, sir?
Inferior portion. Okay. Any other?
So they don't have valves, no, sir.
Yes. Remember, the dural venous sinus, they don't have any venous sinuses. Okay. Sorry. The dural venous sinuses, they don't have the valves. Why? Because if the intracranial pressure will increase, or you can say if any obstacle will be there, if this is your vein, okay, venous sinus, if the unidirectional flow will be there, okay, then what will happen? If somewhere here it will be blocked, then the vein will be, what is that? Inflamed, and it will be bulge out, and that bulge out vein may compress the brain. Okay, so that's why all the venous channel in your body, they have the unidirectional flow, whereas in dural venous sinuses it is the bidirectional flow. If it will get its what is that, obstacle over here, then the blood may flow to backward. Okay, so that the actual pressure will be maintained inside this venous sinuses. Clear or any doubt?
Yes, sir. Clear.
All of you clear, no? Okay, fine.
Yes,
Now
sir.
see here we'll see there is the uh, calvaria removed. Okay, the calvaria that is removed over here, right? What is calvaria? The skull cap. Okay, so the skull cap we have removed, so that here you can see this is the outer table of the skull bone, known as your compact bone, and this is your what? This is your inner layer of the compact bone, this is your outer layer of the compact bone, and in between that these things are your diploe. Okay, so here you'll find the outer table of compact bone, and this is the inner table of the compact bone, and this is the diploid of spongy bone. Okay, so this is made up of your spongy bone. Clear? And here only you will find the cavity, and this cavity will be your sinus, air sinus. So here it is present at the frontal side. So you'll be known as, this will be known as your frontal air sinus. Okay, but here you can see this is the durameter, right? This is the durameter, and at this part you know that the durameter has been removed here, right? So you can see this is the near about something transparent and opaque mixed part, right? So here you can see this you can closely see this image. This layer is actually meningeal layer. Okay, and this layer, which is actually endosteal layer, has been removed over here, right? You can see this is the endosteal layer that has been removed. So here we'll see that in between these two, what is that, outer layer and the inner layer, okay, this outer layer and inner layer, they are separated over here, okay, at the mid sagittal line. You can see here they are separated, okay, and in this separation you can see this is actually the venous space, okay, or the venous sinus, okay, and this venous sinus that you can observe here, that here there are so many numerous openings are there, okay. So here you'll see this is what your venous sinus that is present at the mid sagittal area, right? So this space, this potential space, that is actually the separation of, what is that, meningeal layer from the endosteal layer. Here you can see this is your endosteal layer and this is your meningeal layer. In between that two, they are adhesive to each other, but at the mid sagittal line they are just separated from each other, okay. And here you can see so many numerous, what is that, holes are there, pores are there, okay. Why these things are there? Because here you can see the small veins and the great veins, they all from the upper part of, you can say superolateral part of the brain, they are just draining to the superior sagittal sinus, okay. Along with that, here you will find that there is the granulations, right? Here you can see these are the granulations, right? What is this granulations? Who can say? Already we have discussed.
Arachnoid granulation.
Don't- don't-
Arachnoid.
Yes, these are nothing but the finger-like projections, okay, of your arachnoid matter, but that is lined by the endothelial cells, okay, like your porocytes, okay. So these endothelial cells, that is actually aligned to the arachnoid matter, they are like a finger-like projections into the sagittal sinus or any venous sinus, is known as your arachnoid granulations. Okay. So these finger-like projections, that's why we call they are the arachnoid villi. Okay. Now, so you clear where is the exactly the venous sinus forms? It is the potential space in between the endosteal layer and the meningeal layer, right? Now we'll proceed to our next slide and you'll see here you can see that this is the what is that, lateral view, and the lateral view skull has been removed, okay. You can imagine how this is looking, right? So here you can see that this is the, what is that, venous sinus, right? So this venous sinus here, just we have what is that, make a incision to show you inside the venous sinus, right? And this is what, this is the dural durameter that descends downward in between the two lobes or two hemisphere of the brain. Okay, so this crescent like structure, that is actually you can see it is made up of the fibrous tissue. Okay, so this what is that durameter, which separates the two sides of the cerebral hemisphere, is known as your falx cerebri. Okay, this is known as your falx cerebri. Okay, so this falx cerebri that actually separates the two hemispheres of your cerebrum, right? And above to the falx cerebri, there is the separation. So this is what? This is the double layer. Okay. So here you can see the separation of the durameter over here, that makes a superior sinus, and that sinus will be known as your superior sagittal sinus. Okay. Now here you can see this is your what? Diploid. Okay. And this is the frontal side. You can see the nose over here and the eye orbital cavity. So here you'll find a foramen at the base of the skull, just behind to the frontal air sinus and front to the crista galli. Okay, what is that? Who can say? Here you'll find the cribriform plate, right? This is what? Cribriform plate, and here you'll find the crista galli. Okay, to the crista galli, the durameter attaches to the crista galli. So in between the crista galli and the frontal air sinus, there is a foramen. Here you will find a foramen. What is that foramen? Who can say? This foramen. This is known as your foramen cecum. Okay, this is your foramen cecum. And from this foramen cecum, this superior sagittal sinus, it ascends upward. Okay, like that, the inferior margin, okay, which is the free margin of your what is that? Durameter. Okay, so this inferior, or the you can say the free margin of your durameter, that also separates at the free margin, and that leaves a what is that? Sinus. You can observe over here the sinus. Okay, this is the sinus. The sinus is your what is that? Inferior
Here,
sagittal. So superiorly you'll find the superior sagittal sinus, and inferiorly you'll find the inferior sagittal sinus. Right. Now you can see this inferior sagittal sinus, it also receives another sinus. Okay. In this way, another sinus that drains to this inferior sagittal sinus is known as your
transverse sinus.
no.
Confluence sinus.
This is your sinus. Great vein of Galen. Okay, this is known as your great vein of Galen. Okay, so this great vein of Galen that drains to this inferior sagittal sinus. Then this inferior
Sir?
sagittal sinus. Okay,
So great
bolo.
vein of Galen, doesn't it drain into straight sinus?
Yes, that part of your what is that inferior sagittal sinus and the straight sinus in between that. Okay, so mostly the great vein of Galen that drains to the inferior sagittal sinus at the terminal end. Okay, are you clear?
Sir, where does this great vein of Helen come from?
From the your temporal lobe of your cerebral hemisphere.
Oh, temporal lobe.
Okay, parietal and temporal lobe. Yes, parietal and temporal lobe, they combinedly drains to this great vein of Galen, and this great vein of Galen that will drain to the inferior sagittal sinus near the formation of your what is that straight sinus, falx cerebri. Okay, this is the falx cerebri, and here is the inferior sagittal sinus, and here is your superior sagittal sinus, right? So what will happen at this point? The inferior sagittal sinus, that will be straight out, okay? So this will be your the straight sinus. So that straight sinus, that will go backward, okay, and that will meet with the superior sagittal sinus that you can observe over here, okay. Here you can see this is your superior sagittal sinus, okay. So the inferior sagittal sinus, that will drain to the straight sinus, okay, and the superior sagittal sinus, it will meet with the straight sinus, okay. It will not drain to straight sinus. The straight sinus and the superior sagittal sinus, they will meet with each other at the which landmark? Here,
Confluence.
one landmark. Yes, I know that is the confluence. But what is that landmark? Internal occipital protuberance.
Protuberance.
Okay. Here outside you'll find the external occipital protuberance. Okay. Like that, inside you will find the internal occipital protuberance here. Right. So near the internal occipital protuberance, your superior sagittal sinus and the straight sinus, they meet with each other, okay, and makes the confluence of sinus. Clear? So here you'll find the confluence of the sinus. So from this confluence of the sinus, here you can see, okay, there are two lateral sinuses are running. From the confluence of the sinus, there will find two lateral sinuses are running. Okay. So here you can see this is your right lateral sinus, right lateral, otherwise known as transverse sinus. Okay. This is otherwise known as transverse sinus. So from the confluence, the two lateral sinuses are formed and they are running along the groove that is present inside the inner table of your occipital bone. Okay, that groove is for the groove for transverse sinus. Okay, here you will find the groove for transverse sinus. Okay, so inside this groove for transverse sinus, these two lateral sinus, they will run to lateral side. Okay, so after running, what will happen? This transverse sinus, they will curve around, okay, and will make the sigmoid sinus. Okay, so for this reason, we'll go to the next slide to show you the actual what things are going on. Right, see here. Here you can see there is the confluence, right? So we have removed the superior sagittal sinus. We have removed the which sinus? Inferior sagittal sinus. And here you can see the straight sinus over here. Right. So this is a straight sinus. And the straight sinus, it is just draining to the, what is that? Confluence. Okay. Because here you'll find the superior sagittal sinus and the straight sinus. They meet will each other at this point. Okay, and that will form your confluence of sinus. And from this confluence of the sinus, you know, this is what? Your internal occipital protuberance. And from this, the two lateral sinuses, they will run alongside, okay, towards the lateral side. Now, here you can see, this is your what? Your petrous part of the temporal bone, okay. And here you'll find what? The lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, and here you'll find the greater wing of the sphenoid bone, okay. And here is your crista galli, and here you'll find the first formation of your superior sagittal sinus. Right now, what will happen? This transverse sinus, it will curve around, okay, and it will run towards the, what is that? Which foramen? Who can say? It will run towards the jugular
Tubular
foramen. Okay. Yes. So now this is actually it will be torn like a S-shaped structure. That's why this will be known as your sigmoid sinus. Okay. So the lateral, the transverse sinus over here, then this transverse sinus will make a curve and it will drain. It will go towards the jugular foramen, and this sinus it is known as your sigmoid sinus. Okay, so clinically the transverse sinus and the sigmoid sinus, whatever it is going towards the jugular foramen, that is, these two sinuses are combinedly known as your lateral sinus. Okay, so don't confuse if you'll get a precision that there is the thrombus formed at the lateral sinus. So the lateral sinus, it it is indicating to both the transverse sinus and the sigmoid sinus. But most frequently, the transverse sinus, that is known as your lateral sinus. Okay, so it is a clinical term. Okay, now you'll see that the folds of durameter, that is also present over here at the sella turcica. Okay, so now you can see at the sella turcica, this is the body of the sphenoid bone. Okay, where your what is that? Your seat of your pituitary gland is over here, right? And this is your clivus, right? So the clivus of your what? Occipital bone and the anterior cranial fossa, okay, and here you'll find middle cranial fossa and the posterior cranial fossa, right? And at this point, this is your orbit, okay, and here you'll find the body of the sphenoid over here, okay, and here you'll find the folds of durameter. So this folds of durameter, that is present at the lateral here. Okay, you can see this is the sinus. Okay, this is which sinus? This is cavernous. Yes. Okay, this is your cavernous sinus. Okay, so this cavernous sinus, it is present just lateral to the body of the sphenoid. Okay, both the side. Okay, it is not a single sinus. It is a double sinus. Here you can see this is one your left cavernous sinus, right? And this is your right cavernous sinus that is present in side to the body of the sphenoid. This is the body of sphenoid, right? So here you'll find one sinus, here you'll find another sinus. Okay, another sinus. So this cavernous sinus, it has the roof, it has the lateral wall, it has the posterior wall, it has the anterior wall. Okay, here you can see it is cube shaped. Okay, so this is the medial wall. Here you'll find the anterior wall. This is posterior wall. This is lateral wall, and here you'll find the floor. Okay, so it is box shape. Okay, and in between these two, here you'll find a communication between the right and left cavernous sinus. You'll find a communication. Okay, so this communication is known as your anterior intercavernous sinus. Okay, like that, posteriorly also you'll find a communication in between the two lateral cavernous sinus, and this will be known as your posterior communication, or you can say the posterior intercavernous sinus. Okay, so here you'll find what? The bacillary plexus. So this bacillary plexus, it will just drain the blood to the posterior intercavernous sinus, right? That means this blood from the bacillary plexus, it will enter into the posterior intercavernous sinus, and from this the blood will go in either direction to the cavernous sinus. Okay, it will go in either direction towards the cavernous sinus. Okay, like that. Here you will find another sinus. Here you can see this is another sinus. Okay, this sinus is related to the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. Okay, and the parietal bone. Okay, this is the sphenoid bone and this is your parietal bone. Okay, so here you will find this sinus. So this sinus will be known as your sphenoparietal sinus. Okay, this is known as your sphenoparietal sinus. Okay, so the sphenoparietal sinus that will drain to the, here you can see, to the cavernous sinus, direct to the cavernous sinus. Okay, and some sphenoparietal sinus, they also drain to the anterior communication. What is that? Anterior intercavernous sinus. Cavernous sinus. Okay. Right now you just participate with me. Okay. Who can say what is the number one? Number one.
Superior petrosal. Superior sinus.
Superior sagittal sinus. Okay. Okay. What is number two?
Inferior sagittal.
Yes, it is inferior sagittal sinus. What is where is that? What is this number three?
Straight.
Straight sinus. Okay. What is this number four?
Confluence.
Confluence of the sinuses. Okay. What is this number five?
Occipital sinus.
Transverse sinus. Okay. Where is that six? Okay. What is this number six? Yes, good. It is the sigmoid sinus. What is this number seven?
Cavernous.
Anterior
Cavernous sinus. What is number eight?
Anterior
Number eight?
Anterior.
Yes, anterior intercavernous sinus. Okay. And what is this number nine?
Posterior intercavernous.
Yes, posterior intercavernous sinus. What is this number 10?
Inoparietal.
Yes, parietal sinus. Nice. And what is this number 11?
Inferior petrosal sinus.
No, this one. Here, see. This.
Superior petrosal.
Superior, yes. This is your what? Superior petrosal sinus. Okay, this is your superior petrosal sinus. Okay, and what is this? This one?
Inferior
petrosal.
Inferior petrosal sinus. And what is this? My question mark is over here. What is this? Bacillary plexus. Okay, right now, quick revision. Huh? So, sphenoparietal sinus drains to cavernous sinus. Okay. The inferior and superior ophthalmic vein drains to cavernous sinus. Okay. Then you'll get the middle cerebral vein and and your anterior cerebral vein drains to, what is that? Your cavernous sinus. Okay. Then this cavernous sinus blood, they communicate with each other by the anterior and posterior intercavernous sinus. Okay. And from the cavernous sinus, blood will go to the, what is that? Sigmoid sinus through the superior petrosal sinus. Okay. And blood will go direct to the internal jugular vein through the, what is that? Inferior petrosal sinus. Like that, the superior sagittal sinus, okay, that will drain to confluence of the sinus. The inferior sagittal sinus and the great vein of Galen, they will drain to straight sinus. Okay, they will drain to straight sinus. So the meeting point of straight sinus, the superior sagittal sinus, and the occipital sinus. Okay, that is over here. Okay, occipital sinus. So this meeting point of superior sagittal, straight, and the what is this occipital sinus will be known as your confluence of the sinus. Okay, and
Yes.
from this confluence of the sinus, this what is that blood will drain to lateral sinuses. That means it will drain to transverse sinus, both the side, left and right, and from this transverse sinus, okay, you'll find the sigmoid sinus. You will find the sigmoid sinus, and the sigmoid sinus will make a bulb over here. Okay, another curve. Sigmoid sinus makes another curve over here. So this is the bulb of jugular vein. Okay, that is the bulb of jugular vein. Okay, and that remains where? At the jugular fossa. Okay, it remains over the jugular fossa, right? And this jugular fossa, from this, the, which vein it is? This one?
Internal jugular.
Internal jugular vein. Okay, from this ball of the jugular vein, the internal jugular vein starts. Okay, so in this way, all over the blood that will be drained. Okay, from the brain towards the heart. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Now, one important thing is there. That is what? Here you'll find this sinus. Okay, what is this sinus? Cavernous sinus, right? So this cavernous sinus, it is clinically very important. Okay, so just we'll have a look at the cavernous sinus, right? See, this is what your roof of the cavernous sinus, and this is your posterior wall of the cavernous sinus, and this is the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. Okay, so this is cavernous sinus. That means what? The inner side, it will be lined by which type of epithelial cells?
Endothelial.
Endothelium, right? There will find the endothelium, right? Now we'll focus here the lateral wall. Okay, we'll focus over the lateral wall only, right? So we just made one thickening of this lateral wall. Okay, so that means what? If this lateral wall, this is the lateral wall. Okay, and in this lateral wall you'll find the you can see it to this point. Okay, this is made up of what? Your fibrous tissue. Okay, this is made up of fibrous tissue, but inside to that, here you'll find a membrane. Okay, this membrane is which membrane? It is your basement membrane, and here you will find these cells. What are these cells? Endothelial cells. These are the endothelial cells, right? So and here you'll find the blood. Okay, that means what? You can see this is the lateral wall. Whole is your lateral wall. So here this outer part, it is made up of your fibrous tissue, and this is the inner wall. So inner wall, it has the basement membrane over here. Okay, and inside this basement membrane, here you'll find what? These are the endothelial cells. Okay, these are the endothelial cells. That means what? Everywhere you'll find this type of endothelial cells because it carries what? It carries the blood. Okay, that's why you'll find the endothelial cells whole over the cavernous sinus, inside of the cavernous sinus. Okay, but here you will find some structures that is closely related to this cavernous sinus. So at the top you will find a nerve. Okay, that nerve that is running in this way. Okay, what is this nerve?
Optic.
Oculomotor nerve. Okay, this is your third cranial nerve. Okay, so third cranial nerve that will be at the top of the lateral wall of what is that? Cavernous sinus. And below to that, here you'll find the fourth one. Okay, fourth is the trochlear nerve that will be also running at the lateral wall of cavernous sinus. I am telling you lateral wall. That means what? These nerves, they are present in between the fibrous layer and the endothelial layer. Okay, in between these two layers, you will find these nerves are lodged. Are you getting me? Here you will find this is your endothelial lining. Here you can see, and in between the endothelial and fibrous layer, here you will find structures running. Okay, that means you will find the third and will find the fourth cranial nerve. Along with that, you will find your fifth A means what is this? Your ophthalmic division of fifth cranial nerve. Ophthalmic division. Okay, and you will find the fifth B. That means what? Ophthalmic division and maxillary division. Okay, yes. So these four nerves, okay, they passes through. So you can say here, this is the ophthalmic division. Okay, and here you'll find the maxillary division. Okay, so these four nerves, they passes at the lateral wall of your cavernous sinus, whereas at the inside this cavity, okay, one nerve is running. Okay, what is this nerve? This is the sixth cranial nerve. Okay, this is the sixth cranial nerve, or you can say the abducens nerve. Okay, so abducens nerve that is passing inside the cavity, whereas the third, fourth, fifth A, fifth B, they passes at the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. Okay, like that you'll find a very important vessel. Okay, that is just running upward by piercing to the floor of what is that? Your cavernous sinus. It will enter into the cavernous sinus, then it will go forward medially, okay, and upward, okay, then it just pierces the roof of the cavernous sinus, then it ascends upward, okay, then it will go backward. What is this vessel?
Middle meninges.
What is this vessel?
Middle meninges.
What is this vessel?
Internal carotid artery, sir.
Okay, this is your internal carotid artery.
Yes.
Okay, so the course is it ascends upward, it pierces the floor of the cavernous sinus. Okay, then it ascends upward, forward, and medially. Then it just pierces the roof of the cavernous sinus. Then it ascends upward and going back. Okay. Who can say the two branches of this internal carotid artery over here? Anterior cerebral artery and
Middle
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 cerebral
cerebral
artery. Okay. That makes the circle of Willis. Right. So here you will find that only this internal carotid artery is the only artery in our body which has surrounded by the venous blood. So at the outer part of this, what is that? Internal carotid artery, you will find also the epithelial cells. Are you getting me? Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Internal carotid artery is the only artery which is floating inside the venous blood. Okay, that's why it is also outer side also surrounded by the endothelial cells. Okay, if the endothelial cells will not be there, then what will happen? Again, what is that? The flow of blood will be diminished. Okay, so the blood will be stagnated surrounding to the internal carotid artery. Okay, and the thrombus may form. Right. That's why the endothelial cells must be there, and these endothelial cells they are just surrounding to this internal carotid artery. Right. Now, the clinical thing that we can discuss now, or we can take another class if you want.
Yes, sir. Another class.